me read it out to you. Dr. Iggy, our guest for this evening on Stimulated Live. Dr. Iggy was born and raised in Texas. Shout out to Texas. Matthew is a first-generation Nigerian American. He is number 5 of 6 children. We're going to definitely ask him about that. He is currently working a clerkship in orthopedic surgery and has a passion for representation in the medical professions. Now, this gentleman, he actually finished his undergrad studies at the University of Texas Medical Branch and residency at UT Southwestern Medical Center and Parkland Hospital. He's a well-rounded young man, and we're going to ask him about all this, right? Deep. That's right, brother. Deep. This is a deep brother with hobbies and interests such as basketball, family, anime, African music and dance, travel, and pediatric care. All right. Additional passions of Dr. Iggy include mentorship, sports medicine, and joint arthroplasty. And I hope I pronounced it right, but he's going to get it right. So without further ado, I need y'all to do me a favor. Get the hearts going. Get the energy going. Let's get some love for my man, Dr. Iggy, that is going to be joining us this evening on Stimulated Live. Let's get the hearts going. Let's get the hearts going. For the hearts. Let's get the hearts going, y'all. Let's get the hearts. Boom, there he is. What up, man?
What's up, man?
Hey, I'm happy, man. I can't call it right now. You know, people are happy to see you. Welcome to STEM Media Live, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, those hearts are your applause, man. If we had like a live set, you'll be coming out to like, you know, applause and cheers and whole nine. So we appreciate it. Well, awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us, man. Here's the thing, right? We do this every Sunday, man, and you know, you've been a highly anticipated individual, I must say, from the moment we put it out there to our audience, because you're kind of a star. You're kind of a big deal on social media, I must say.
Oh, man.
Well, check it out, man. Iggy, before we get into like your story, and I read a little bit about your bio, of course, we usually ask the question to kick things off. Give us a random fun fact about yourself outside of what I read, like something that you can add to that people will be like, oh, wow, I didn't expect that to come our way.
Woo! Okay. I cut my own hair.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Hey, man, you know, that's like, it can go good or bad, you know what I mean? Because people can be like, oh, snap.
You're looking straight.
There you I hear you. Hey, man, a lot of people in quarantine had to like resort to that too, believe it or not. But fortunately, you're ahead of the curve, I guess.
A little bit, or behind.
How long you been cutting your hair?
Since I graduated high school and stopped letting my dad cut my hair.
Oh. Did your dad used to give you the bowl cuts?
Nah, he used to give me that rainbow edge up.
Oh, man, not the rainbow. Not the rainbow. Yeah. Yo, I feel you with the rainbow. My dad used to give me the bowl cut, though, man. Like it's supposed to be a fade, but it's like no fade.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's worse, that or the rainbow, man.
The rainbow's pretty bad, bro.
Definitely. Well, y'all show him some love. We got Dr. Iggy in the building, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about his journey into orthopedic surgery. Man, there's a lot that I'm really interested in as it relates to your story. But check it out, y'all. If y'all are watching this and you have a question, drop it in the comments. We're going to try to get to it when we can. But word is this, Dr. Iggy, and that is when you grew up, you originally wanted to be an engineer. Now, I'm an engineer, right? Oh. But now you are in orthopedic surgery. You're in medicine now. So the question I have for you is, what led you to make such an unfortunate decision, brother?
Oh, come on. You know you want to be here.
I don't know. What led you, though? What happened? What made the switch?
So growing up, I always like broke apart toys and computers and vacuums, whatever. And I swore I was going to be an engineer. Everybody in my family did medicine. I was in robotics. I went to Texas A&M, which is an engineering school. I was like, hey, I'm in it. What had happened was I went to, so after my first semester, I thought I did pretty well. Went to my advisor, sat down, was like, all right, put me in biomedical engineering. I'm ready. My grades, I took all the prereqs. And she was like, well, you know, it's really hard to get into that major. was like, okay, like what are the chances? She was like,
Right.
only 5 people get in there out of a year every semester. I was like, what? Okay.
Wow.
I'm thinking, why can't I be one of those 5? And she was like, well, maybe you should look into something else. So I was like, okay, as a naive freshman, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I started looking at biomedical sciences or biology or chemistry. And she was like, no, those are hard to get into too. So I left that meeting, man. I was like, dude, this sucks. Like, I came in for engineering. Well, I guess I can't get into engineering. So I did make a mistake, and I kind of took her word for it. And after that, I called my sisters, and I talked to them about, hobbies versus passions. And I started questioning myself to see whether engineering was a hobby or a passion. And then after that, I did a summer program in Cleveland, Ohio. That was right after LeBron left. It was dry.
Oh man, the worst.
The only good thing that came out of it was I got to shadow a surgeon for the first time. Yeah. And I realized that surgery and medicine surgery and engineering are so close. Medicine and engineering are so close that, you still use the science-based baseline, but you can couple the engineering concepts with humanity. And I figured I could do bigger changes in medicine than I could in engineering. So
okay, all right, y'all. We'll give them that. We'll give them that as a legit cause. But no, I feel you, man. In fact, I've heard you say this as you talk about the same principles. I've heard you say that the body itself is a machine, right? Yeah. How to talk about that a little bit? How you begin to kind of see that?
Heck yeah. So you got to think about the machines. Every machine we make is designed by humans. And we make it we model most machines after what humans already do. We just make it more efficient. But at the end of the day, a human made it. So you can look back and see like how the human body is analogous to a lot of our best machines. And machines that you see like in the body, you have elbow hinge joints, you got lever arms, and all those things. All those concepts of physics relate to the body in first a mechanical standpoint in terms of tendons, muscles attaching to, insertion points, and then you got joints. And then the next thing is powering those things in terms of energy storage, how just like a battery, the body you can eat and consume products and then convert it to things like a battery and then exchange it across cells, just like a battery exchanges it across a circuit. And then you have you got wiring, control center, just like, a remote control car, the body has a brain and then it connects to the rest of the body through wires. And that's kind of, I saw it like it's very similar, except, the body has a soul and the machine has nothing,
I got you. Man, that's deep, man. Y'all give them some hearts, give them some love for that. Man, I'm not gonna lie, man. I may use that one day when I'm talking to some students or something. Yeah. I might have to drop that. I'll credit you like the first couple of times. I promise you.
It ain't me. I feel like God gave me that, so you can credit God. It's not me.
I got you, man. Well, y'all give them some love. Give them a lot of people saying they love that. Stacy said that's what's up. Noble Looks, love that. No doubt. And man, let's take a step back real quick though, because you grew up, man, as your bio said, and in Texas, right? So there's like so many dynamics that relates to like your cultural upbringing. So let's talk a little bit about the early days. I mean, like, the Nigerian influence, the sibling rivalry, the fact that even this, like, I think you started out at one school and then went to the rival school in Texas or something like that. Like, talk about all that influx of culture, man, you got growing up.
All right, so I grew up in Dallas, Texas, Triple D. Yeah. I was born at the hospital I work at. So, my family, there's a lot of us. I have 4 older sisters. We all live together. In a 3-bedroom apartment. And essentially, it got to a point where I go to school, come back home, and I'm like, hey, let's play Power Rangers. And they stopped dying. So I went to my mom. I was like, I can't do this. I need a brother. I need another dude in here. She's like, okay, my baby, just pray for a brother. So I prayed for a brother. She said, touch my pray. So I prayed, and then, later, my brother came out. The problem was, my brother, he wasn't like I expected. He was like useless. He couldn't talk. He couldn't play together.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what the heck? So anyway, at the end of the day, he took my shine. So, you know, I have 4 older sisters. I'd say they're like nurturers, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then I have my little brother. I can't say I was the biggest brother. But eventually we moved out of that apartment together, and I started at this one district, this one, you know, community high school, public elementary. And I got pulled into this magnet school, which was pretty much across town. And I basically went from feeding into one high school into the opposite. And then after that, I went to high school with my older sister, who's directly older than me, who was really smart. So, so I'm going to steal something from her. So in terms of generally growing up, how was it like, you know, growing up in Texas with Nigerian parents? My sister has this famous quote. I hope I don't mess it up. And she actually like got accepted to a lot of schools, maybe using this. She said, you know, I am a Nigerian American, born in America, raised in Nigeria, while in America.
So your house was like Nigeria. You had like a microcosm of Nigeria in your home.
Basically. So what that looks like is you got parents with accents. They speak another language. Everyone, you know, I can't really speak my language that well, but you know, they mix it in, and then the food you eat, you only eat African food pretty much.
Wow! But then when you go to school,
and then you go to school, to me, you know, as a kid, it's like whatever until you pull out your lunch and they're like, what's that smell?
What kind of rice is that? Like, what is that?
And they ain't saying it's a good smell. Not all.
Yeah. Man, listen, I'm sure that made you unique though. You say what? Say it again.
It's that splat.
That's splat. You know why I heard say that, man? My man, Toby Nwigwe, the rapper out of Houston, Texas. Yeah, man. That's the boy, man. Yeah. I heard him say that splat. He was like, I know y'all think I'm regular black, but I'm not. I'm Nigerian. I'm Nigerian American. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Hey, so speaking of like, you know, these different cultures, one of the things I found was interesting, get into like your professional work, right? Is you're in orthopedic surgery, and one of the first things I was like, when you sent me like, you know, the name orthopedic surgery, my spell checker was like, do you spell this right? And I'm like, yo, I thought it was orthopedic. And you got like the A in it. And I'm like, all right. So I learned that there are 2 different ways to spell it. You can maybe explain that for a second, but then really give us like a synopsis of what it is in general anyway.
Yeah, so he's referring to, so if you look up orthopedic, you know, you type it in, it's going to be ortho and then P-E dick.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry for everybody. Anyway, within orthopedics, we spell it ortho and then we put a P-A-E, orthopedic.
Right.
It goes back to the Latin origin. And it's just something, you know, to, you know, separate the wheat from the chaff, you know, to let them know who knows versus who don't know.
If you know, you know. It's one of those if you know, you know things, huh?
Exactly. So, what is orthopedics? Ortho means to straighten, and then pedic means to get people to straighten up their function. We correct their function. And mainly in a musculoskeletal fashion, people who have broken bones, if they have tendons that break off of the insertion site, or ACL, ligamentous ruptures, like y'all all know, that's what we do primarily.
Nice. Well, hey, man, the more you know. Y'all learned something today. Shout out to the audience. If you didn't know that, I like to say I knew that, you know, probably a few hours before they did. But that's dope, man. That's dope. And what's interesting about your story that I'm aware of is that you actually had a few personal experiences that kind of began to shift your focus to that particular specialization of medicine, right? Tell us a little bit about like what happened.
Yeah, so basically my freshman year of college, I hoop. That's what I do. If y'all don't already know, I hoop. I hooped every Friday. Before, there's this Bible study I used to go to at 7 every Friday. I would try and get in at 3 o'clock, be home by 6, shower, and make it to the meeting by 7.
Yeah.
Well, this week, I was like a little late to the gym. I was like, should I skip hooping or should I go to Bible study? I was like, I'm a hoop. On the way there, I was like, God gonna break my leg.
No, man. See? Can't skip Bible study to hoop.
I was number 10 of 10 of 10. And it was like the runs were kind of weak. I was like, it's fine. I'm still getting in. I ran down, I ran back, and I came down, and I stepped on some dude's foot and twisted my foot. And I thought I just broke my ankle. I sat it out. Of course, I didn't go to Bible study. I went home, chilled, sat it out over the weekend. On Monday, I was like, this mug ain't changing. It feels exactly the same. That's how you know you got a broken bone. If you hurt yourself and it don't change the next day, if it ain't better, you need to get an x-ray. That's what you need to do. I got an x-ray on that third day. And of course, I had something called a Jones fracture, which is a fracture of the pinky toe, the base of your pinky toe. So I had a pinky toe fracture that put me out. And essentially I had to get this cast. It was a horrible experience. We talked about that the other day. But essentially I had a dunk contest the next week. I had like some basketball tournaments I missed out on and all this other parties I was going to. Anyway, missed out on all of that. And basically, I was so sour from that experience. But the next semester, I took anatomy and physiology, and in that class, the first thing they went over was bone healing physiology. And I was still kind of recovering from my fracture, and I basically could couple everything I was learning in the phases of bone healing to what with my broken bone. And that was the first time I was like, man, this is kind of cool. I can relate to this. And then after that, my dad, he had right hip arthritis, and he couldn't walk very well. So I had to buy him a cane. In my culture, using a cane is not the biggest, not the most popular thing. So I convinced him to walk with it with a little pimp lean. With a little swag, right? He got a little swag with it. Put a little on it, man. Put something on it. Anyway, so I put a little on it. And then we convinced him to have surgery. And he still used the cane a little bit after surgery, but my sister, one of my, 4 sisters, one of them got married, and by the time she got married, he didn't have to use a cane. He wouldn't have no limp. In fact, today I just saw him. He's like kicking his leg around. I was like, see, my sister, and man, I was like, I forget which side he did surgery on. So wow. So it was you and your dad, right? Yeah. You and your dad. Me first. But you first, man. But check it out, though, man. I got to push back on a little bit of stories because, you know what I'm saying? I always hate when I get hurt before a dunk contest, too. Oh, yeah. Just to be honest with you. I hate when that happens, right? It's like the worst. It's not it. But, like, is the truth, though, Iggy, that you really got crossed? Or did you, like, step on somebody? Like, did somebody hit you with one? Or what? Did you kind of, like, change the story a little bit? Let's be cool. All right. First of all, I will give it to you. I was on defense. Okay. I was not guarding the ball when this happened. So that you off the ball. Okay. All right. The people I was playing with, they didn't. I mean, no offense to anybody who has a passion for basketball, it's not very good. I encourage you to keep playing. Get active. But anyway, the dudes I was playing with, they had all this energy, not much coordination, and they were just running behind me. I'm just doing my thing, guarding my man. And some dude behind me is running, and I step on his foot. I turn my ankle and hit it on the ground. Dang. That's crazy, man. Crossed, though. You did not get crossed. He's clearing it up, y'all. He did not get crossed. And it all worked out, man. It all worked out because, again, it led you to more focus when you were in the class, right? You start looking at your symptoms and start realizing it's for you. Well, that's what's up, man. Y'all give him some hearts for that. I'm really thinking about the stuff that maybe I know, because I'm a basketball fan as well, right? And I think about the things that happen in basketball that probably would have been something similar to things that you see in your line of work, right? Like I think about the dude from Louisville. You remember the guy from Louisville? Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. His I think it was his knee or his shin. It was came out of his leg. Yeah. Oh, man. And then like Paul George, right? When he came down on the thing, right? And just all types of crazy stuff. What's my man from the Celtics hurt himself? All that stuff. So like, I'm assuming that these are the types of things that you see in your line of work. Yep. And so can you give us any story about anything that you may have seen that brought the unfiltered, like Nigerian out of you? Like, anything like that where that just made you be like, whoa, this is crazy. Oh, man, let's see. That's tough. But I'd say, okay, so for sure, since HIPAA, I'm gonna, because I've experienced this multiple times. You will not be able to find who I'm talking about because there's so many experiences. But this patient that I will describe has happened so many times. So for those of you guys who are familiar with diabetes, also called diabeto,
you can look at
diabetes. Essentially, you got high sugars. Your body cannot control the sugars. Well, the way that relates to orthopedics is those high sugars can sometimes burn away your nerves. So the concentration is so high, the sugar turns into alcohol and it burns your nerves away, and that's called neuropathy. And that's a secondary condition of diabetes. So what happens is when your nerves burn up, you can't feel stuff. That means you can't feel pain, and then you can't feel where your joints are at. We take that for granted, but your body can sense what position your joint is in. So when that happens, you get something called arthropody arthritis. It's called Charcot arthropathy, where your nerves don't work and your joints can't sense where they are, and they basically start rubbing away. Another thing about your body that's really cool is it has a lot of built-in mechanisms to protect itself. So anyway, I've had a number of patients with Charcot arthropathy where they cannot feel their joints, and they unfortunately take a fall or a tumble and they break their ankles. And not only do they break their ankles, but sometimes they break their ankles so bad that it pops out of their skin and you can see their bones as it relates to those injuries you were talking about. And then they come to you with like, yeah, I think I broke my ankle. And then you look down, you're like, oh my goodness, on the other side.
Oh man. And then is there like some sort of like mentally, like when you see it, then it's like, oh snap, like you start feeling the pain.
I mean, the thing about it is, with time, over time, you don't even like at first it's like, whoa, I ain't never seen that. Anytime you see something new for the first time, it's like, whoa, I ain't never seen that before. Go back to the books. But
look this up. Yeah.
But most of the time, after you've seen it a few times, you're just worried about what do I do about it? Like, how time sensitive is it, and what do I do about it? And then once you keep seeing it, it's like, okay, well, once you see it again, you already know what it is. You kind of already know what to do about it. So it's just like okay, let's get it done. You realize you cannot waste time being so shocked. You gotta sometimes you can be shocked afterwards. Like I'm like be shocked afterwards. Okay, it happens. You're like, whoa, you treat it, move on, and then you're like, dang, that really happened. Then you think about what could I've done to make that better? Did I make any mistakes? What can I do better next time? And then you just sometimes be like, wow, that happened. That's the thing.
Then man, be shocked afterwards. Y'all give them some hearts, give them some love if you're watching this. We're breaking down that little lesson for us real quick. Man, I gotta tell you, I don't deal with that in engineering. I promise you, in structural engineering.
You sitting in a chair like this. You sit right here.
Listen, sometimes I'll probably rather that in some cases, but you know what I mean? In some cases though. Well, y'all appreciate y'all giving them the hearts, giving the love. Yo, let me ask you this though, because if y'all ain't following this guy again, I mentioned that he's kind of a big deal on social media because this guy makes the most epic like TikToks in the world, right? And when you start talking about like, because you're in, let me get this clear real quick though, like you're in your residency or clerkship. Like, what's the difference between the residency and clerkship? Is that the same thing?
Yeah, no, it's not. Clerkship is what you do typically in medical school, and essentially you're on a different rotation where you are, exploring a certain specific specialty. And for example, a clerkship in medical school is medicine, medical clerkship, surgical clerkship, OB gynecology. And then on my side, I'm on rotations. So I'm in the orthopedic, I'm in residency. So sorry, you go from clerkships. From clerkships, you figure out what residency you want to do. Do I want to do medicine, pediatrics, OB-GYN? And then you choose a residency. So my residency is specifically ortho. And then within ortho, there's all these different branches of ortho, and those are called rotations. Got it.
And obviously, you have an affinity for the sports medicine path of.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
A little bit.
A little bit. All right, cool. Well, y'all check it out. Back to your TikToks though, man. Like, I remember the one I saw where you were talking about, like, what I love about your TikToks, man, is that you have a way of like presenting it to, people who are in your line of work where they get it. They're like, yo, I can relate to that 100%. But then somebody like me who watches it is like, it's entertaining, and I'm also like educated a little bit, because the one I saw that caught my eye was the one where, like, I guess you were doing night shifts and you just kept falling asleep like random places. Like you just walking beside a pool and then just fell asleep. So talk a little bit about your TikToks though. Let's go into like, what are some of your motives and like your thought process behind like the stuff you post, man? Because I'm telling y'all gotta follow this guy. He's hilarious, man. So give us the mind behind some of your TikToks and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's kind of along the lines of what you're experiencing, and it's encouraging to hear that it's hitting where I wanted to hit. Yeah. So primarily, on a serious note, y'all know like my hashtag hated in a hoodie. It's one of the motives behind it is to encourage representation in medicine. So from but through comic subjects, but some things you cannot always be comic about. But TikTok luckily gives me that avenue to express in that way. So what I do primarily is the hope is to show people in a comic way that you can be Black, you can be a guy, you can be a doctor, you can be funny, you can like certain things, listen to certain things, you can dance, you can do whatever, you can express yourself as still be a physician. And then hopefully by doing that, you can encourage other people like you to do the same thing. That's one. Then the next thing is like, okay, people like you who are already chosen what they're going to do, for you is to also like, encourage, I guess, to one, entertain. I mean, I hope that it entertains anybody.
Oh, it's definitely entertaining. I'll be dying at this.
I really hope it entertains. I hope it's
absolutely.
Fun. Like, I want it to be, I want you to come to my page and leave my page, a happier person. Maybe a better person, well, hopefully a happier person.
If not better, at least happier. I got you.
And and then lastly, to like educate, just for anybody that way they can find out what we do in a comic way. Now it's not, some of it's exaggerated, of course, but right. I try to keep it accurate and just keep it fun. Right.
That you do that, man. I agree. Like you 100% do that, and that's really a lot of the motives behind STEM media too, because it's like, it's not always like let's get into all the details of the technicalities, but the lifestyle, itself. People seeing a Black man successful in your field, and then like laughter is always good. You know what I mean? Laughter is like a medicine, for sure. Yeah, man. I love it.
Roast you on one of them videos.
Hey, man. Go ahead, man. We can get a little back and forth.
Video.
The rainbow edge. Get the rainbow edge.
You're not gonna do you like that.
Don't hit me with the rainbow edge, man. But like, speaking of your hashtag, though. Speaking of your hashtag, like hated in the hoodie, like that joint, and then we posted it, of course, with our flyer. But like that joint went viral, man. Like, what does it feel like to have like post something and then all of a sudden like get a lot of attention from it? Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm still figuring out how I feel about it, but overall, it's cool. The saying, "To much is given, much is required." So that's the excitement of it going viral and like all these likes and all these like people commenting and networking. That's amazing. That's really cool. And I like that's the first high you get with like a post that goes viral. You're like, man, this is so cool. People actually like this stuff. I actually have something to contribute. And then the next thing is like, the weight of it comes where it's like, wow, I feel like there's more responsibility I have. Before I was just living my own life. I had a private account and, just doing my thing. I wasn't making videos, but I was still doing whatever I wanted. I wasn't really worried. But now you have to think about, it makes you more intentional about what you do. So it's just a balance between like it's excitement. You're always like looking for, like because I know the message, because through y'all, I found out that the message is useful and it's encouraging. It's also challenging. I realized that I think it has something to offer to more people, so I try to push it out. I try to like get more people to hear it. For sure. On the other side, it's like, well, the responsibility of it all. It's like you have to think about, what's next and what does this fully mean, and I just have to process that at all times. So
true that.
it's double.
No, man, that's what's up. That's a very, very mature answer. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give it to him. You gotta give him some hearts for the very mature answer over here.
Well, thank you.
Well, I'm about to take you to the audience real quick. If y'all got a question, put it in the question mark box at the beginning. But I'm gonna pull one up real quick. This is from Jay Rice and says, talk about how to balance studies and social life. Hit that real quick if you don't mind.
Yeah, so Sir William Osler said, life is a consortium of habits that essentially you just make life a habit. And is, you got to understand your life. My life primarily is a doctor and a training surgeon. And then I think about the things that are like habits, things that I do habitually that are, easy and passive and fun to me. So it just turns into priorities of habits. So, of course, priority number one is being a doctor and studying and, paying attention to details and taking care of patients. And then there's this thing called free time. And free time, you can invest. You can invest your free time. You can sleep.
Wait a minute, you mean doctors have free time? Like I thought,
everyone is allotted a certain amount of free time, but we all have we all have some free time. So basically, the way I balance it is I use my free time to do what you see, but within that comes efficiency and exchange and sacrifice. So there is some sacrifice, and I always have to question whether the sacrifice is worth, my studies or my family time or whatever else.
True that.
Yeah, so I basically try to prioritize studying first, work first, patients first, and then with the free time I choose, do I want to invest it into social media? Do I want to invest it in this TikTok? Or do I want to go do something else?
Right. That's a good question. If y'all have any other questions, feel free to put it down in the question mark box. And before I go to another question, Matt, I want to ask you this. Talk about free time. You're a doctor, you're an athlete, so you say, you know what I mean? Okay. And then, you social media influencer, but you also have model on your resume too. And a lot of people notice how in our flyer, you got model, man. You got model.
I ain't put that. Who put model on it?
Listen, people notice you rocking the scrub caps, man. Nobody's sleeping on the scrub caps, man. So talk a little bit about, the scrub cap joint.
Yeah. So what he's referring to is Creed scrub hats. I'm not the owner of that company, but I am one of the, I guess maybe co-founders. And what Creed is essentially where it came from is during the pandemic, the founder is another resident like me. She noticed the lack of PPE. At the hospital, we usually use disposable PPE, but she came up with the idea of making this indisposable PPE. And then also because if you think about the fact that everyone's wearing masks, you don't know, you can't identify anybody. You don't know what, you're like, who are, you can't recognize your friends.
Right.
We figured Creed is a way to express yourself in another way. And Creed at baseline means, a set of people that belong to a certain amount of certain beliefs. That's Creed with a C, and then ours is spelled Creed with a K. And essentially our goal is to encourage people to express themselves, and then hopefully through that, in a unifying way, diversity and unity, express a set of beliefs that encourage cultural appropriation, encourage, welcoming environment, and then encourage you the freedom to express yourself. So that's kind of like the baseline of it. And we think they look nice. We put a lot of thought into the design of them. One of the things that we have coined is the satin lining to protect the hair. Yeah. Most people like to protect their hair, especially people with, sensitive hair like mine.
Hey, I feel you. I got to protect my joints too.
Yeah, it's like it almost is like a do-rag. It's like equivalent to a do-rag,
Yeah. Now, I think that's dope too. You got the African prints, on the outside, and I think like West African, right? To be specific.
Yeah,
West African inspired.
Right. We're gonna mix it up. But yeah, right now.
Y'all gonna switch it up? Okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What's the website so people can know? Let me type it in. What's the website just so people can check that out?
So
it's
shopcreed.com.
With the K, right?
With the K.
Shopcreed.com.
Creed.com.
Boom. There y'all go right there. Y'all got to check that out. Support the movement. Yeah. See, man, you thought people didn't know about the little modeling career you got going on, too.
Hey, please follow us. If you can, follow us from my bio, whenever. I mean, you ain't got to do it now, but if you don't mind, just follow us. And, if you like something, like it. If you want it, buy it.
There you go. Support a good cause. Y'all give them some hearts, give Creed some love. Definitely go follow. I got one more question for you from the audience, man. We're going to pull this up real quick. Someone wants to know how much math is involved in your line of work. How much math?
Thank God, not much. Well, okay, not much active math. So, I took calculus. I took calculus A, B, C in high school, tested out. Luckily, I didn't have to do, the whatever Cal 3. So I have a background in calculus. Of course, I took physics. I luckily tested out. Didn't take it in college, but a lot of that goes into, as you know, surgery is precise. It's not, some of it is art and precision. It's art and precision, especially for orthopedics. It's art and precision. For all the engineers out there that want to be engineers, and you learn about, mechanics, there's biomechanics, and the foundation of biomechanics is biology within physics. And so it takes a foundational understanding of physics to apply to the body. Now, the good thing is that, because of the art of it, you don't have to always sit down and calculate every little thing you're going to do. However, for example, with us, implants, we'll say my dad, who had a total hip replacement. The way that math comes in is we'll take an x-ray, we'll measure the x-ray, we'll measure the dimensions of the bone on the x-ray, and from that, we will try to anticipate what size of an implant you will use, what kind of implant you will use. So we'll use those calculations of angles, lengths, density to determine what kind of implant to use. And that's applied, in multiple ways. There's probably more science in orthopedics than I think in most things, other than like medicine, where you will titrate, for my chemists out there, you'll titrate a medicine to, address a certain disease. That's where titrating means you give a certain dose to chemistry math. Got you. Man, I didn't even know that much math was involved with what you shared, so I appreciate you for sharing that. That's a good question. Doc, I want to keep going. Can you take one more question from the audience? Yeah. Okay, let me take this one real quick. All right. Having taken the MCAT, how would you study differently, if at all? Oh, man. What I tell everybody is I would start earlier. That's nothing else to it. It's just starting earlier. I'm not going to tell you, I would use this app, this specific book, blah, blah, blah. Nope. That's for you to figure out. You're going to figure out what works for you. I'm serious. Because I can't tell you, it may not work for you. You will find what works for you, but the early you try to figure out what works for you, you will find it earlier. You will get more fit at it earlier. And then the next thing would be, reviewing over and over again. One of my attendings, Dr. Starr, always says, "What's the key to adult learning, Matt?" And I'm like, I don't remember, sir. He's like, repetition is the key to adult learning. And essentially, you have to, once you repeat things over and over again, it'll become familiar to you. That's how you drive back home. You don't need GPS after you've seen it so many times. True that. So, yeah. So start early and then repeat. That's it. Oh, man. Appreciate you, man. If y'all loving this, if y'all enjoying Dr. Iggy, Matt, as he dropping so many jewels, man, y'all give him some hearts, give him some love. Bro, man, this has been great, man. But before we kind of wrap things up, let us know what's next for you, man. What are you looking at, after residency? What are some things we can expect, whether it be TikTok, whatever? Like, what can we expect from Dr. Iggy coming down the pipe? Yeah, so honestly, of course, a lot of down the pipe is not determined yet. I don't know. But what I can see is, of course, got a complete residency. I'll be done with fellowship in 2024 for all y'all waiting to have surgery. But likely, like in terms of medicine, the practice, I'll probably do general orthopedics, which is a lot of everything, like anything you could think of that you may say, oh man, this bone hurts. I want to find a doctor for that. I want to be that person who can treat a lot of diseases, but I'll specialize in sports, and I'll likely do a lot of joint replacements, as I talked about my dad. And hopefully, in terms of location, I don't know yet. I'm hoping to have a family and kids at some point, which I ain't got none of those.
Hey, listen, man.
But outside of that, in terms of media, in terms of like social media and like, all the things outside of that, I'm hoping to eventually find a way to channel everything we're talking about, all the energy and fun that I put into my page. I'm hoping to use that in a controlled fashion to inspire people and also draw people who are at most need for that type of stuff. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't know exactly where it's going to go right now, to be honest. I don't know whether I'm going to open another, I really just don't know. I'm looking for partners. I'm looking for more inspiration. I'm just be honest, I don't know. Besides being a doctor, I don't really know where all this go.
You definitely going to finish medical school. Residency, that for sure.
The goal is to continue to inspire in a controlled fashion.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, one thing's for sure is that you're already in the process of doing it, brother. You know what I mean? But you are already now becoming. And I'm just super glad that we got to connect. You know what I'm saying? And you came here. This is what's up, man. We got the applause, Teresa. Shout out Teresa. Gems, the hearts, the tip. And listen, man, I'm just going to put out there. I already know people took note of that you saying you're looking to have a family one day, man. You keep saying that. You might just speak that into existence. Bro, you know what I mean? Social media opens it up, bro. I'm just saying. I'm just saying social media opens things up, brother. But, man, hey, man, you are definitely on to successful things, great things, man. And I know people agree with me when I say this. So, again, we're not going to keep too much longer, man, but we do ask this question in the parting that we ask our guests to give us some parting words of wisdom. You've already dropped like tons of jewels, tons of gems to hold on to, man. But is there anything you can leave us with before we say goodbye?
I would say, I've said this many times, but there's a verse that says, where there's a lack of vision, people perish. And that can be taken so many ways, but the way I take it and the way that it's been applied to me in most recent events is, if you can't see where you're going or have an idea of what you want or what you want to see in yourself, then your dreams are going to perish. You're not really going to make it. Well, you may make it, but it's going to be very difficult to make it where you want to be. So I say where there's a lack of vision, your dreams perish. So seek to make your visions visual and tangible. And pursue them. And then the next thing would be, in general, to everything, start early. So any question you ask me, how do you recommend doing really well in this? Well, I'd say, start exploring early. Get on Google early. Study for your test early. Prepare for your presentation early. I'd say those are the two things for this talk that I would say you should take away.
Hey, there we go, man. There you have it from Dr. Iggy himself. Y'all give him some hearts, give him some love. Brother, this is definitely one for the books. Man, this has been a great conversation, man. And, that vision, man, I affirm you for creating that vision in the minds of so many people just by being yourself and doing what you're doing. So, man, thank you so much for your time, bro. This has been dope.
Thank you for the opportunity, man. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Some love. Salute.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Thanks, man.
All right, bro. All right, y'all, man. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Shout out again to Dr. Iggy. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Again, we do this every Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. We have another great guest coming next week. Check us out. Go to YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, go to youtube.com/media. Follow us. Like, subscribe, do the whole thing, because we're definitely looking to bring more of this vision, more of this